What does the mutant nation of Krakoa do with its own freaks and outsiders? Well, they get a team of their own. All this and more in the first issue of Hellions, issue number 1. Let's hop on in together and find out what happens next, shall we? So, as we join the comic, it's the anniversary of the Mutant Massacre, also known as the Morlock Massacre. X-Force, Krakoa's answer to the CIA, has been called in to intercept a shipment of heavy weapons being sent to the Hellfire cult, not to be confused with the Hellfire Trading Company or the Hellfire Club. They're technically good guys now. It seems that some jerkwad wanted to celebrate the death of all those mutants by killing some more. Luckily, the X-Men were here to stop them, but it doesn't go as easily as all that. Poor Havok ends up going completely nuts during the fight and losing control of himself, almost as if something was controlling his mind. And hey, before he did have Bastion inside his head, did they ever deal with that? I feel like that's a hanging plot thread from the last era of X-Men that never got resolved. If it makes Alex Summers feel any better, he's not the only trouble mutant right now, as we find out at the next Quiet Council meeting. It seems that the topic of discussion this week for the ruling body of mutant kind is what to do with certain mutants whose powers make them, well, antisocial at best and savage killers at worst. I mean, after all, Krakoa is meant for everyone, right? But what if not everyone is for Krakoa? Like Empath, a mutant who has the power to manipulate people's emotions, but who spends his days using those powers to get other mutants to fight for his amusement. Yeah, okay, he's a sociopath, but it's not like he was a sociopath born with mutant powers. His powers kinda made him one. He basically could get any sort of emotional response from anyone he wanted, and because of that, he's basically been playing life on easy mode. Ooh, also, fun note, Empath was actually the leader of the original Hellfire cult. It doesn't get brought up here, but I thought that was a fun connection. So if Empath is a problem, then someone like Orphanmaker is definitely going to be a problem. This guy was a leg breaker for Mr. Sinister back in the day, and well, made the orphans so Essex could experiment on them. He's also a big baby man inside a suit of armor, and even though he has powers, no one's actually seen what he can do. In fact, the only person who can even get through to him at all is Nanny, the weird egg thing. So yeah, they're definitely something of a package deal. A much more straightforward case, though, is Wildchild, that guy who looks and acts like Sabretooth, but we swear is not Sabretooth. They've been giving him pills to try and suppress his animalistic nature, but it's not working. He's just hiding them, and he's quickly becoming a danger to himself and others. And then lastly, we have Scalphunter of the original Marauders, a team of mutant assassins convened under, you guessed it, Mr. Sinister. A group of Morlocks led by Calypso are trying to kill him today on the anniversary of the Morlock Massacre because, hey, if he kills us, what's the worst that can happen? We can just come back to life again. What's truly interesting is that when it comes time for Scalphunter to defend himself to the Quiet Council, he doesn't actually say that the Morlocks attacked him first, this time. So, what will be done with all of these scrubs on Krakoa? Well, again, Mr. Sinister has a grand idea. Give them to me, they can be my own special project. After all, if I can mold myself into a stand-up citizen of Krakoa, surely I can do the same for them. And hey, if you ever wanted to point their bloodlust at a problem, say something unlike X-Force, who does things in the shadows and quietly. Maybe you want a big bang, maybe you want a lot of blood and guts. Well, you'll send the Hellions. They're primarily villains or former villains, so you got a level of plausible deniability for anything bad they actually do. Naturally, once Cyclops finds out that his brother has been sorted into this new group, he's pretty pissed off, not the least of which being him and his brother's own shared history with Mr. Sinister. Scott knows full well he can't actually stop Xavier and Magneto once they've made up their minds, but he can do the next best thing, and that is make sure that his brother has someone watching his back on the team, and that person turns out to be Psylocke. Kwanon's already had a few unfortunate dealings with Mr. Sinister in Fallen Angels and come out the other side A-OK, so she's probably the perfect person for the job. The Hellions aren't together for longer than 15 minutes too when they already have their first mission, and it'll come as no surprise that they're actually cleaning up one of Mr. Sinister's old messes. In fact, they're going to his house, the Essex Estate. That place is filled with a lot of very valuable cloning technology, and it seems the Marauders, again the original Marauders, not Kitty Pryde's team, has taken it over. Havok swore he would never return to that godforsaken place unless it was to burn it to the ground, so in a weird way he's kind of getting his wish. Oh, but this is an X-Men story and things are never what they appear. Oh, sure, the original Marauders have indeed hunkered down at the old Essex estate, but they're not alone. It would seem that they've been taken captive by the Goblin Queen, aka Madeline Pryor, aka the demon-possessed clone of Jean Grey. And so that was Hellions issue number 1, everybody, and I gotta say, Zeb Wells comes out swinging and delivers us what is basically X-Men's answer to the Suicide Squad. A team that somehow manages to be dirtier and grimier even than the morally ambiguous version of X-Force that's on the shelf right now. Honestly, this one's already ticking all of my boxes. A wonderful mishmash of characters who at first seem unrelated, but then you read their extensive Wikipedia pages and see they actually have quite a few degrees of Kevin Bacon. Wonderfully weird and refreshing humor with Mr. Sinister, who looks to be a major fixture of this series going forward. Man, you know, they gotta drop the ball on one of these new X-Men books eventually, right? I swear I can't possibly pick them all up, but you know what? I really do want to keep reading this one, which is why I give this first issue a 9 out of 10.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing me right now, it means you watched to the end of the video, of which I will always be appreciative of. It really helps with retention and all that other good YouTube stuff. If you really like my work, you can check me out on social media. I have links down in the description of the video you're watching right now to all my different socials. I got the Twitter, I got the Instagram, I got the Facebook. I'm very easy to be reached, and if you follow me there, you can be the first to know about when a new video goes live. And with that, I will bid you all adieu. Bye-bye.